Yes, I think my message is very clear, is that everyone sees the end product, which is the Red Devils, when they represent the nation in a World Cup and a European Championships, but everything starts in their role. I think the coaches in the amateur level and the development level are essential, and we've got a big responsibility, but see that responsibility as enjoyment. We have to give good standards to the young players, and many times take the responsibility of developing the human being. The footballer is essential, but if you don't develop good human beings, the footballer will never have a good career, or it will not be part of a good team. Remember that when you are developing a footballer, you're developing a part of a winning team. So it needs to be a good person. It needs to be someone with great values, that he can commit, that he can have resilience, that he can understand what the team needs. And I think that's just my message. Enjoy the journey. I want to thank you for everyone that is in the room that has had a direct or indirect effect into what the Red Devils did in Russia. And from here, from the Federation, we're going to make sure that we try to work as much as we can to give them the tools in terms of education, try to get inspired with good experiences, and try to give them the tools to make sure that modern coaching is part of Belgian football. So a big message of encouragement, that they are very important for the future of Belgian football, and that we're going to support them as much as we can. Well, I think what's important is that don't expect to see the perfect player. I think in détection, you always need to find an outstanding quality. You only need one. As a player, to work on a footballer, you have to almost give him as much education as you can. But you need to highlight one outstanding quality. That outstanding quality could be his desire to become a professional footballer. Sometimes it's detecting what's outstanding quality, not just a good quality, an outstanding quality. If it's the passion to become a footballer, to be prepared to do things that other players wouldn't do at that age to become a professional footballer. It could be the speed, it could be the quick thinking. Sometimes they cannot be executed well enough because they haven't fully grown up. It's trying to see through that performance. I think performance in the development of a player, it needs to take it into context. It's more about the talent and attitude. Talent without attitude in the modern game, it doesn't last. Less and less there is the talented footballer that survives just because he brings that talent. The attitude is essential, and I think it's part of the coaches to promote that attitude and to set a good, strong code of conduct of a young player that he wants to become a professional, of a young player that he wants to progress, and a young player that he wants to be important in the group. So very important that in détection you try to find something that footballer could become exceptional at. That could be vision, it could be technical aspect, it could be being brave under pressure, it could be someone that is a leader, someone that he faces adversity well, someone that really wants it more than others. So don't try to compare everyone, take every player as an individual. Every player should be an isolated story, and make sure that people can be committed to become part of a team.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's a combination. There are some players that they were very, very talented when they were young, but I think what they all share is that they had to work very, very hard to be where they are. Maybe now the way of living life, everything comes easy. From kids coming home and saying, my teacher said this, the reaction of the parent is, oh, the teacher did something wrong. 10, 15 years ago, a kid would go home and the parents would tell the kid off because the teachers were always right. And I think we're creating that sort of environment. It's always a well done. A football player, a young player, is always a well done, even when they miss the target, even when they miss a pass. Well, we need to make sure that we give them an opportunity to find adversity and find difficulty and see how they react. Otherwise, we're not preparing them for the professional game. So I think it's very important as an educator and as a coach that you can set real high standards for a reason, because it's the only way that you can become at your very best. The Red Devils, now we got 95% of players that they've been abroad. Yeah. Every player had to be out of the comfort zone. They had to learn a language, or they had to try to speak in a different way, or they had to become somehow important for the team where they were going to work. So this is the journey that we need to provide our young players. If we could ideally, the ideal scenario is that a player can become at his very best without leaving Belgium. Yeah. And I think we are in the process, but we're still far from it. Because too many players or younger players think that the best thing for their development is leaving Belgium early. And this is wrong, and the coaches in the room should know it. The only time that you can become a young player going abroad with a success is when you're ready. And there is no an age, or there's not a number to say that you are ready. Every player is different. But the story of Yuri Tillemans, after 200 games for Anderlecht, he was ready to go abroad. The story of other young players that they left at 16, 17, and they had to come back with a bad experience, damage, and maybe some will never find a return to their best level. One thing is facing adversity, and another thing is getting out of the comfort zone and putting the human being in a very difficult, fearful position that you don't recover from. So I think the coaches in the room, I would like to give them, if they could develop a really good relationship with the young players of honesty, that they could tell them when there is a decision to make. Sometimes they are the only ones that they can be neutral and say, you cannot leave your environment yet, you're not ready. Or the opposite, I think you need to get a move because this is too easy for you. I think try to find that individual honest relationship, because the younger players, if we want to solve the problem in Belgium of not allowing players to leave too early, is if we get coaches that they can have an honest opinion on the situation.
Is there a Spanish secret, or do you have a special...
No, I think you need to have clarity. We all involve the coaches in the room. They need to understand that we are in a business controlled by emotions. When you win, everything is fantastic. When you lose, everything is a disaster. And as a coach, you need to understand that we need to live in this environment, but try to be level-headed. You're not that good when you win, and you're not that bad when you lose. But the only way you can be in that way is when you got clarity of what you have to do. So I call it the product. The product is what the coach needs to do with the players, if it's training sessions or speaking with the staff members or promoting good leagues for the players. Whatever it is, the product of each coach, you need to put a lot of effort and a lot of time on it. But once you do it, you got almost the calmness of your day-to-day. And then you can cope with emotions. Football is not a job. Football is a passion and it's a way of living, and that's what we all share in this room. And it's important that you can enjoy that journey. You shouldn't be stressed about being able to win all the time. Let me break the news, you're not going to win every time. It's impossible. So I think it's more concentrated on what you do, the product, and if you put the hours and the work, you can be calm about it and being able to enjoy the process. Yes, if I can tell them that football is a way of living, is a passion, and we're all fortunate that we can work on it. It doesn't matter if it's professional level or not. is exactly the same. It's how you bring a group of players with the clarity of what they have to do and achieve things together and achieve memories forever. And I would encourage everyone in the room just to follow your dream, to follow your passion, to keep working and try. There is nothing better at the end of a football career is to have the memories of affecting a young player developing or reaching a memory together. And from the federation and from my point, I'll try to do as much as I can to give everyone in that room the opportunity to see how the Red Devils work and try to give them a bit of inspiration, and you can make it your own. And now try to make the next step to modern coaching. Modern coaching is always using the technology and the screens. Now we got a big project of the Belgian community of analysts. We want to capture everything that is on a football pitch, an amateur level and a professional level, and then use what the people doing, which is watching a screen. We need to give them clips, we need to coach them from the distance, we need to coach them when they are doing things that they are not in your training ground, and we're going to put our big emphasis on that with amateur football, and hopefully in the next 6 to 7 months we're going to see the results. So well done for all the good work that you've done, and enjoy the evening.